Hey, Jamie Bodie with JLK Events. Here with you this morning, we're looking at the Freedom Par series of lights. We have a Tri-6 here and a Quad 4. I'm going to show you the two of these. Normally I'm more about showing you really what the lights will do, and I don't do a whole lot of looking at the light itself. But these lights are really well built and really cool, so we're going to take a few seconds and take a look at that. All right, brought in a little help for this last part. At least somebody to hang out with. This is my buddy and my son, Jay.
Hi.
All right, let's take a look at these lights. All right, here we go. Taking care of the lights. I have the Freedom Par Quad 4 on the right, and the Freedom Par Tri-6 is on the left. And you can see this little kickstand on the Tri-6. I've activated it. You can take this, and it actually holds the light at an angle if you choose to do so. So they can sit flat on the floor. You can activate that, lean it up, and it gets a nice little angle for you. Really cool feature. Another cool feature I love about these lights, and I know this is weird and kind of simple, but this little handle right here is really convenient. When it comes to carrying the light or moving it around, they are super helpful. They hide, come up, you use them, push them right back out of the way. They're completely hidden. You can't see it at all. So going back to what these lights are, this is the Quad 4 over here on the right. Quad because it is quad color. It's an RGBA fixture, and it has 4 lenses. And the Freedom Par Tri-6, the light over here, is a Tri. It's an RGB fixture, but it has 6 lenses, 6 diodes for each color. So kind of looking at that, when I saw that, I grabbed the Quad 4, and I wondered if it was going to be a bright enough fixture, and so I took it outside at my house into the backyard, and I have a reasonably large backyard, and I started lighting up the trees behind my house with it. I love the power output of the Quad 4. 3 of those would light up all of the woods behind my house, and gave me some great ideas for what I'm going to do on Halloween. Kind of turn maybe the woods behind my house into a blood red kind of a deal. So a lot of fun there. Let's take a look at the back of these lights. Go ahead and turn them both around here. And they're both exactly the same. You can see right here you've got your battery indicators, 25, 50, 75%, and 100%. So you can tell how your battery's doing, because these lights are completely wireless. They're battery powered, so you don't have to run power to them. And you can run wireless DMX to them using the Chauvet DeFi system. So completely wireless light, walk in, set it down, get it hooked up, and you're ready to go. Let's go ahead and switch this one on. And while we're switching it on, let's take a look at the bottom of this. The bottom of these lights is really cool. Love the design, love the thought that went into it. You can see over here, hopefully, that there's a power in right here. And on the other side, just opposite that, there's a power out. All right, the on-off switch is right here on the bottom. We'll go ahead and switch that off because that light in the background is a little hard to deal with. And if we look up here, you can see that you've got your DMX in on this side and your DMX out on this side. And so even with the light sitting flat, you run your wires in right through here, and it's a nice, neat setup. Even without covers, everything is kind of hidden by the light itself. Love, love, love this setup. Great job, Chauvet. All right, so back under here, turn the light on so we can take a look at the back of it here. Menu's pretty easy to follow. This is your color indicator. You can choose between, I believe there are 9 preset colors in these lights. Go through and just choose between those presets if you want a preset color. The light also works with the remote. I'll grab that and show it to you in just a second. Pretty easy to use. Jay, you gonna grab that remote for me, buddy? Good job. And the sensor for the remote is right in here. It's kind of hard to see with the light on, but that's the IR sensor for the remote. So you can go through all those. Of course, you can set up your DMX channels, your different programs. You know, if you want the light to be changing colors, you can set the speed at which the light changes colors. You can set the lights into master slave mode. Put the lights in what is it, sound activated mode. This is the sound active mode. And just, you can set up how many DMX channels you're going to be using. You want 3-channel mode, do you want 4-channel mode, 5-channel mode, 9. There's just a lot of different things. The Quad 4 is a little different on the channel modes. I think it's 3, 6, and 10. But they work almost exactly the same. And so the learning curve is pretty simple between the two of them. Here's the remote control that I was talking about. You can do blackout. You can go to your auto mode, your sound mode. You can strobe. You can speed. You can change the sensitivity of the audio mode. You can dim the lights up and down. You can manually create colors in here. So you could manually create a color and then go around and change each light to that color. Just a lot that you can do with this simple remote that would, in cases where you don't have DMX set up, that would allow you to get to a lot of the functionality within this light. So love the remote. Really simple, really small, easy to use. Very cool. The thing that I noticed first and foremost about these lights is how well they're constructed and how beefy they are. They feel really, really rugged. Just a great design. I'm totally impressed with them as to how they feel. And it just feels like you're going to get years and years of service out of this light because of how well it's constructed and all of the way that it's been built. Enjoy the fact that they've got the this little hood right here, and so that kind of keeps people from seeing the top of the light as much. Great design. Chauvet has knocked this out of the park. Love this Freedom Par series. Love the fact that they're small. They go into trussing easy. We're going to show that here in just a little bit. We break out some truss in the back. So once again, the Freedom Par Tri 6 and the Freedom Par Quad 4, excellent choices for uplighting. Love the fact that you can change the angle. Doing that behind a head table or anything like that, it looks good. It's very functional, very easy to use. To say the least, I'm impressed with this light. So let's go to the back here and take a look at what this light looks like in action, and we'll show you just a few of the things that it can do. All right, here we are with the lights on. We have the Quad 4 on the right, and then the Tri 6 is on the left. Kind of both set to an amber color, and to my eye, it's a really, really good match. There's a little bit of variation that I can see. Nothing that I think anybody would ever pick up on. It's a really good job of making an amber, which is a pretty difficult thing with a tricolored LED. So kudos there. One thing we have noticed in the past, I'm not seeing it now on my video camera, but just a caveat, if you will, is sometimes when you create a color like amber and you don't have a true amber diode, they show up very differently on video. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the lights on in the room and then back off. See if we get that effect here. If we don't, I'm not saying that you never will. Sorry about that. Freaked my camera out. Give it a second. I'm not saying that you never will, but what I am saying is there's a possibility for it. So my suggestion here is certainly to go for the quad. Get the RGBA at a minimum. No, again, they both come out nicely. But I have seen this in the past, so be very careful because you don't want their video to be changed. But in this case, so far at least, we're looking really good. Now you will notice that I've got one of these lights straight up like we would typically set up an uplight, if you will. And the other one is leaned at an angle. And just take and allow your imagination to put, a couple more of those beside it. So if you had 6 lights, say, behind the head table, you could really create kind of a neat effect back there by not having those lights straight up and down. Because One of the things I think we need to do every chance that we get as lighting companies or as DJs with lights, either way, is we need to differentiate ourselves from others and find ways to do different things that look really good that other people aren't doing. All right, so let's take a look at some more colors here and see what we can get color-wise out of these. All right, we're going to take a second and run through some of the colors here. I'm not a videographer by trade, I can tell you that, so don't have a lot of color correction, and we'll hope they come out good. Casey's going to help me by changing the color of the lights. We'll run through the 9 presets that are on here. This is number 1, it's this red, and it is a really cool red. Now we've moved to more of that amber type light. And these lights do have wireless DMX through DeFi, but what we're using right now to run through those 9 presets is simply this. Just take this. Just a remote. It's an IR remote. And on the top of each light, right there on the top, and you can't see it because this light is on, there's a sensor. And so you can come down here, look right there, and that's your remote sensor. So you can walk around and change the color of these lights with a remote, and you don't even have to set up DMX. Through the remote, you can change the color. You can reach the presets that are built into the light. There's a lot of different features in here that we can reach. Sound active mode. One of the really cool things that you can do with the remote is change the intensity of the light. So not only the color, but the intensity. Because so oftentimes you'll get into a room, and let me go back here and turn this light off. You'll get into a room and they'll say, this is too bright. The problem with lights used to be that they weren't bright enough. The problem today with lights is that they're actually can be too bright. And these are definitely bright enough to fall into the category of you may need to dim them, which would allow you to use either fewer lights, or if you had a good many, you can dim them down and still keep your color, but not overpower the room. So a lot of functionality there with just the remote. The remote works on all the Freedom Par series, so one remote handles both of these lights. The cool thing about it is you can change them individually by simply walking over to the light, because they are IR. We're affecting this light, but that light's totally fine because it's not receiving the IR signal. So if you wanted to make every other light do something different, that would be relatively simple with the remote as well. So a lot of functionality that can be obtained just through using the remote control on this light. Of course, you have all the functionality that you could ever get out of DMX on any light with the RGB or the RGBA, color mixing and doing things like that. Of course, what you can do with Show Express with these lights is pretty much unlimited. You can do whatever your imagination takes you to do. Pretty cool lights. Love how they're built like a tank. They really feel like they've got a great construction, and they'll be around to serve us for many years in the future as DJs and as lighting folks. I think Chauvet has done an incredible job redesigning, recreating the standard uplight. And very well in the future, this could set the bar for uplights. All right, pretty cool thing. These lights are smaller, and so putting them into truss is a lot easier. Now, we do realize that smart people put their lights in the truss and then put the truss down. And with some of our lights that we've owned in the past, you almost had to do that. They were really difficult to get in. These slide in and out of the truss really easily. So, if you want to take one in, put one in or take it out for some reason, piece of cake. They do a great job of warming the truss once you get it in there. They're just a great light. I'm really impressed. Chauvet has done a fantastic job of really creating a nice little light. We'll go ahead and turn the lights off and check this out and see what we have here. But just good job, Chauvet. This is a neat light.